Hey guys, good morning. This is Brad Krantz. Welcome to April 1st. This is not an April Fool's message. I would probably title it actually April 1st, No Fooling. You know, there's a big loaded question that I want to ask, and it's this. What does financial freedom mean to you? And I want you to think about that one for a bit. I want to set the scenario here, and we're going to talk about this book here. I'm going to share it, Heads I Win, Tails You Lose by Patrick H. Donohoe. Great book that I'm reading right now. And in this book, he poses some great questions, and I want to address those. I'm going to hit those on Friday too, another set. You know, the book is admittedly geared toward financial planning strategies and wealth preservation, which are great. You should be taking care of that. You know, provocatively and I think correctly diagnoses the problem we face here in the U.S. And I think most of us kind of intuitive, but we know this. We don't like to talk about it or face it. You know, in the introduction, he makes the statements Americans are losing the game of money. And that may be shocking, and I'd ask the question, is it true? Well, he then sets the stage to explain why, and it's worth sounding out his points, I think, and giving them some strong consideration, because I found, at least in my own life, from what I've observed, what I've read, that he's sadly but accurately correct on this point. You know, as a country, I think we know we've got poor fiscal and monetary stewardship, right? Just look at our Congress. Our U.S. national debt is at an all-time high of 21 plus trillion, and it's growing. You know, half of our earned income, and this is a shocker, I think, to a lot of people, goes to taxes when you factor in sales tax, property taxes, utilities, and inflation. That's a stark but sad reality. We've got to deal with that, right? No wonder it's so hard to make it. We're paying 50% of our income to taxes, okay? Think on that for a while, all right? Let that sink in. Then we as Americans lack financial education. And we're not taught this stuff in elementary, high school, or even college for that matter. And this is illustrated by what's called the retirement savings gap, which is running at about $14 trillion. Consumer debt is an all-time high of over $20 trillion. 45% of our workforce has $3,000 saved for retirement. Guys, that's not going to cut it. And according to a study in 2019 by the Federal Reserve, roughly 4 out of 10 Americans wouldn't be able to come up with $400 in a financial emergency. Okay, if they do have an unexpected expense, they have to rely on costly measures like taking out a payday loan or borrowing on a credit card. The problem's perpetuated. I've been in that boat before, okay? Less than 20% of U.S. workforce is highly confident that they'll be able to retire. So what about the other 80%? Guys, what do you do? What do we do? And I can relate because I've been in that situation not too long ago. So I know what it's all about. I know what it feels like. You know, and our education system has failed too, and I'm not going to get into depth on this, but, you know, education expenses keep rising, and he says with marginal, if any, improvement in results, and he documents this too. And I speak of this one with a 4-year degree in business, okay? And outstanding student debt as a result is over 1.5 trillion. That's a huge number. And not surprisingly, student loan default rate is over 50%. Wow. He then makes a statement: the typical American narrative of going to school and getting a college education, establishing a high-paying job, we've all heard that before, right? And then funding our 401k, which is really about the only thing available to the average person, the 80%, and then retiring at 65 is not financial freedom. It's diametrically opposed to the American dream. Okay, that's true or it isn't. Think about that one. And that's not a positive scenario, but we have to face the reality of it, right? Reality isn't what we want it to be, it's what it is. So then let's ask the question, how would you define financial freedom? Okay, you know, some mention the ability to pay for homes or college tuition. There you go. Weddings, if you have children that are going to be getting married, you know, medical expenses without going into debt, takes a huge hit on a lot of people. Others talk about growing and protecting their wealth from penalties, you know, like taxes, market losses like we're experiencing right now. Others talk about simply being able to live comfortably, confident in their financial future. And again, according to statistics, only 20% of people have that. So what do we do if we're in the 80%? You know, maybe travel is a hot button for you. Okay, or paying cash for a new car. Or how about not having to stress over situations like we're in now with COVID-19? Job losses and furloughs, situations that are beyond our control. Okay, many folks and companies are finding out now that cash is really king. And it is. All of these answers have the same bottom line according to Donohoe. He goes, money isn't the driving factor in decision making. Okay, if you're in those situations. This kind of financial freedom is what allows you to create and live the life you want, you know, the original promise of the American dream, okay? And that's hard to do without regular cash flow and smart financial practices, education, that are designed to work for you in the long run. What do you do if you have just a typical job? It's really tough. Imagine what you could be if money was no longer the driving factor in your decisions. What would you do? Okay, ask yourself and think about that one. That, he says, and I agree, is financial freedom. So, how do you achieve that? Well, for one, you have to think differently than the average person. If what everybody's doing isn't working and it says 80% are and it's not, how are you the 20%? You have to think for yourself. That's a key thing that I don't think we really learn too much. The wealthy think differently. The statement by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said the rich don't think differently than the poor. They do the exact opposite. And that's how we need to change our thinking. If what we're doing doesn't work, and apparently for statistics 80% it doesn't, then why are we doing it? And I'm committed to showing you how it's possible with our business model and 3LE leadership team to work toward helping you define what financial freedom is for you and making it a reality in your life. How can network marketing and partnering with Jeunesse Global help you get out of the rut and get you on track to financial freedom? Let's have a conversation about that. Let me know if you'd like to learn more or how I can be of further service to you, or if you have questions, guys. I'm here to help you out. Okay, servant leadership. You can click on the link tkg-leadership.com for more info on our business opportunity. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, of course, and as always, you are welcome to connect with me on social media. Love to hear from you. Love to start a dialogue with those of you that see yourself in this situation and want to do something about it. Join me on Friday as I expound some more wisdom and words from Heads I Win and Tails You Lose. So tune in, God bless, and have an awesome Wednesday.